Ladies and gentlemen, I am Billy Alexander, and welcome to yet another edition of The Run-In. Guys, you know the show by now if you haven't watched, and I'm going to come to your fucking house, disclaimer, and I'm going to punch you in the face with a tack hammer. The Run-In is a very informative 10-minute punch you right square in the face talk about some wrestling, and then I go on to my next journey. Guys, do you like my new deal back there? Isn't that pretty cool? The Run-In. It's nice, isn't it, right? Yeah, it's pretty cool. It debuted on the Franchise Takes 5 this past week. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Let's get right to it. Chris Jericho has spoke and said that he would like to see AEW try to work closely with Martha Hart in honoring Owen in the right way. Now, Owen's never wrestled in AEW. Owen tragically died way before AEW was even thought of. Okay? Now, what Owen Hart did in this business of professional wrestling is legendary. From the time that he left Canada all the way to the WWE until his tragic passing. I don't talk a lot of politics, and I don't like a lot of backstage politics, but Owen deserves to be honored the right way. And I understand that they're trying to figure out a way. There's just a huge breakdown of communication between Martha Hart and the WWE. Because of everything has gone on over the years. Chris Jericho spoke with Sportskeeda and expressed desire for Owen Hart's inclusion in AEW wrestling. He'd like to see AEW work closely with Owen Hart's widow in some respect. That could be a great way to honor his memory. I'd love to see Martha do something with AEW. I think it would be great for his spirit of Owen. And everything as well. He says that he's a huge disciple of him. I'm very much influenced by Owen Hart, so I would think that this would be great and would turn out the best way possible. Whether it's New Japan or AEW, I think it's important for Owen to be remembered by his fans and by the people that were influenced by him. You know, Chris Jericho included. Martha is understandably upset at WWE. They did a lot of things wrong that caused her husband's death, and the Dark Side of the Ring episode explored those mistakes. We'll have to see if Martha Hart ever comes around, decides to involve. I got this like beard hair, man, that just keeps like sticking out on the side here. Involve her husband's legacy with AEW in any way whatsoever, or with his pro wrestling altogether. Now, Owen Hart deserves to be a first ballot Hall of Famer regardless. Owen Hart deserves to be enshrined in the WWE Hall of Fame and every pro wrestling Hall of Fame that there is. There's lots of stories about Owen Hart. There's a lot of legacy behind Owen Hart. It's a shame he wasn't allowed to show us what he was capable of doing after his brother had left and everything. And it was just really kind of Owen all by himself left over in WWE. That's a real shame, because I do believe there would have been some great wrestling matches, WrestleMania moments, SummerSlam, even Royal Rumbles for Owen Hart. Rest in peace to a great technical wrestler, a great legend in his own right. For AEW to try to put the legacy of Owen Hart into their company, I don't think we need that. Honestly, I don't think that would be something we need at this time for the family and stuff. I think they need to finish whatever the issues between them and WWE are and get that taken care of is what needs to be done. So, speaking of AEW, Matt Jackson recently come out on an episode of The Elite. Yep, that's a Billy Weiser already. Hey, it's a 20-3. It's not 8 o'clock in the morning like my sister-in-law. Oops. Oh, I shouldn't watch this shit anyway. Speaking of AEW, Matt Jackson came out to address the injury update, and he does not have broken ribs, like his wife had spoke of. He has a very bruised rib that's caused severe pain. Deep bruising is the worst, guys. I've got an issue going on with my lower back right now that I've already been in on a massage to try to help get it taken care of. It helped for a little while. I got this stuff that I put on it, and yeah, I mean, deep bruising is horrible. My massage lady says that I possibly could have a disc that's popping in and out. So now I got to set up for a check on that. Jesus, I'm falling apart. I used to be able to just go to the gym, jump in the wrestling ring, take a bunch of bumps, and my back would be fine for a couple of weeks. You used to do that all the time. And now if I were to go in there and do it, I may not get back up. Matt Jackson did address that it was just a very deep bruising of the rib. Nothing's broken. He will be back on a timely schedule. And the Young Bucks back in AEW. Which is good because now you've got FTR over there, and we know that that's going to explode soon. And I'm actually kind of waiting for that one. I'm interested in seeing how the Butcher and the Blade and FTR mingle, because I think that's going to be a hard-hitting match. A lot of big boys in there. Paul Heyman has been talking about how he wants MVP to manage a champion in WWE, with that being, Bobby Lashley. A lot of things were being said about Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley come SummerSlam this year. Obviously, that's not the truth, or at least they're not making it out so predictable. But there was a rumor going around they wanted Lesnar and Lashley at SummerSlam. Currently, right now, that's not the plan. They have other plans for Bobby Lashley and plans for Brock Lesnar. They should just start calling him Brock Part-Timer. Like Rock part-time, and eventually John Cena's basically that too as well. But anyway, they've got their own little direction they want to go with these guys. I don't think we need to see a Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley match at this point in WWE. I think that's kind of pointless. We didn't need to see an Undertaker and Oldberg. Sorry, somebody said that name. We didn't need to see any of that. And I understand money talks and everything else. But I don't need to see a Brock Lesnar Bobby Lashley match. Bobby Lashley should have never came back to WWE. In retrospect. He should have just stayed away and stayed where he was at. But Vince McMahon changes his mind on the fly all the time. It's like that. Literally, as they get ready to go through Gorilla, he changes everything right then and there. It's happened multiple times. But these two big boys doing battle the biggest party of the summer. Probably not going to happen this year, guys. But speaking of Brock Lesnar, The Undertaker has a new series on the network, which is a phenomenal series. I watched the Sting and the Lost Tape the other day. Relived some old WCW stuff. The Ric Flair one's out there I'm going to watch. It looks really good. And The Undertaker's got his out there right now, and it's a phenomenal series. He talks about literally his whole entire life of WWE and everything there is that was good and what's wrong, and everything that he thinks that he may have made a decision wrong, or how he thinks this may have played out. He recently did an interview with CBS Sports, and basically he came out and said that Brock Lesnar didn't need to beat him at WrestleMania and beat the streak. He was already a huge enough star. Undertaker still went through it as Vince McMahon requested. See, there's that hair again, man, right there somewhere. I don't know. 100% certain Vince wanted and the Undertaker to lose at the show. Breaking Taker's WrestleMania streak could have been given to somebody who needed it much more on that pedestal. The Undertaker should have passed that torch off to somebody else, not Brock Lesnar, because it didn't need to be done. It could have been Daniel Bryan. It could have been Elias for shit and giggles. AJ Styles. It could have been Drew Gulak. It could have been it could have been a number of anybody. I mean, Ed, the comeback of Edge. I mean, it could have been Randy Orton. It just could have been somebody other than Brock Lesnar. When it happened, everybody was in shock. for the rest of that program, even a lot of people afterwards on Monday Night Raw and through the week, the weeks after, were a little like, God damn, did that really happen? Did that really need to happen? And everything. What the fuck is going on here? Huh. Anyway, obviously it was in Vince's mindset. If not, it was Brock's. Then who? Well, we just named off a few. Biggest concern was I just wanted to make sure that McMahon was sure that that's what he wanted to do, and I didn't feel like Brock even needed it. Brock was already a huge star, and it was going to help him in any way at all. My only concern was that they might have had someone down the line that could have benefited from it more, and probably would have been Roman later on. That would have been the only way they would have got him over, for sure. That's with hindsight being at 2020, but I was going to get beat by somebody. Brock was the guy who had the credentials, and I think to do it, people would like, okay, shit, that's Brock Lesnar. That was the biggest deal. Edge had to turn down, had to turn down the idea because Undertaker went to Edge and was like, hey, I want you to beat my streak. And he's like, yeah, I don't want it. I don't want to do that. Respect for you, and I don't want to be the one to do that. Sorry. Of course, Lesnar, had no issues in following through because it was all about money and the orders of Vince McMahon. Do you think the dead man dropping to Roman Reigns for the streak would have been the best idea at that time, if it would have been able to happen? Leave your thoughts and comments, in the comment section, because this could lead into a discussion later on. But yeah, Lesnar, according to The Undertaker, didn't need to have that rub because he already had what he needed. Charlotte Flair drops the NXT title. Oh, by the way, spoiler alert. Drops the NXT title this past week. And they've got bigger plans for her going forward. You're going to see a very huge explosion between Charlotte Flair and Asuka down the line. It will co-main event a SummerSlam. It'll co-main event a Hell in a Cell. It'll co-main event Rumble. Co-main event a Mania. I mean, it's going to be an explosion between these two. And I can't wait. Once and for all, get it on, get it over with, get it out of there. But I'd like to see some more Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair matches because I believe that's the future right there and the way that it needs to be going. Edge, speaking of Edge a few moments ago, talked a little bit this past week. When Edge decided, when everything was made together to where Edge was going to come back to WWE and make a run, he wanted an RKO run, Team RKO, Tag Team Championships, the whole works. Now, yes, that would be a great thing, but Edge has got enough to give for a lot of these guys out there still that there's no point in putting them on that trolley horse out the door just yet. Randy Orton and Edge matches, if you go back and watch them over the years, are phenomenal. And I'm not trying to paraphrase and take things away from AJ Styles and stuff like that. There's some really good matches. When they were a tag team, they had great matches. This Edge deal with Orton, I think, is a stepping stone for Edge to get what he wants back before he steps up to the next level and makes that last huge run. That's what this is. Just like Cody Rhodes winning a TNT championship as his stepping stone back to the AEW world title picture, which eventually will go over MJF one way or another somehow, and he'll end up getting that title shot, and then you'll see Cody holding that AEW title eventually at one time. This is Edge's stepping stone to climb back to where he needs to be on the pinnacle for that one last run. Then he can take that trolley horse out when he's in that spot and he's getting beat down by whoever it's going to be at this time, and Orton comes to make the save, and they run a team RKO for 6 months, and they win the titles once or twice, and they go out the door. Well, Edge will go out the door. Orton's are sticking around for quite a while. A lot of rumors backstage talking about Adam Cole possibly leaving WWE to head to AEW or somewhere else in that matter. Currently, right now, as it sits, there has been, information that was put out that he already signed another deal, and all the details on it weren't 100% clear, but it does show that Adam Cole is possibly staying right where he is, doesn't need to go anywhere else on that matter. Adam Cole in AEW would, he would fit in where he needs to, but I think he would eventually kind of get pushed to the side on certain things. And with him so supposedly re-signing AEW, you don't have anything to worry about, and we'll go from there. Guys, that is all I got for this week. I'm catching up on NWA Power, by the way. I just watched Nick Aldis and Marty Scurll from the Crockett Cup 2019 last night. Phenomenal fucking match from start to fucking finish, and I enjoyed it very well. This has been the run-in, guys. I'm out. I'm done. That's all my notes. I don't have any more to say. Get the fuck on. How you like my sign, by the way?